Hey guys. Yeah, like Will said, I'm also Will. I'm a sophomore here at Miami. And yeah, I was going to share a little about my life. Yeah, so for me, growing up, life was just a game. It was a game to earn the approval of people because I thought that was what would satisfy me. I literally pervaded every area of my life. I hung out with the popular crowd and worked hard to maintain my friendships with them and to earn their approval. I would do what they did, say what they said, and make fun of who they made fun of. I even destroyed some of my friendships along the way because the popular guys decided they were no longer cool. Then I would go home, and I was a completely different person. I put on a performance wherever I went, acting completely different for different people so that everyone would like me. At home, for my parents, I tried to be as good of a son as I could. I knew that they loved me unconditionally, but it seemed that they praised me more when I performed better, so that's what I strove to do. I wanted to be the best student I could be, and I wanted to follow all of the rules. This even started to seep into my spiritual life. We'd go to church every weekend, and I tried to impress my parents by being the smartest guy in Sunday school. I even read my Bible at home just to make my parents proud. I was getting pretty good at this game. I was good at putting on a different face for different people, and it was generally working. People liked me, I had a lot of friends, and I was doing really well in school, but I was empty. I was looking for my satisfaction and people's approval, but I was not finding it. So early on in middle school, I turned to pornography and lustful desires to satisfy me. I worked overtime to try to hide this from my family. I couldn't bring this into the light. I had to keep it hidden because I had to maintain this image. But eventually, I started losing this game. In 7th grade, I lost a lot of my friends, and I told my dad about pornography. I no longer was popular, and I no longer was the perfect child, but I thought I would still be okay. But that summer, I went to a Christian camp, and the Lord used it to totally turn my life upside down. My counselors were passionately living for the Lord, and I saw that in them and wanted it, but I had no idea what to do. They began to tell us that we needed to be real with God and real with ourselves. They told us that we had all sinned, that our sins separated us from God, and made us serving only of eternity in hell. They told us that only Jesus' sacrifice on the cross was sufficient to pay for our sins and reconcile us to God, that we needed to give our lives to Jesus. I was at first really resistant to this. I just didn't understand. I thought I had it all together spiritually because I just read the Bible and went to church every weekend. I just totally didn't understand it. But the Lord totally just broke through this. He broke through to me and enabled me to understand. And He enabled me to understand that only through following Him could I experience true satisfaction in life. So He drew me to Himself, and I wanted to follow Him with everything that I had. So I turned away from my sin and gave my life to Him. And He started to change my life right away. One of my friends was with me, and God saved us at the same time. And one of the first things we did when we went home was to tell our other friends about Jesus and how He had saved our lives and the awesome things He was doing. The Lord gave me awesome victories in purity, and I started to understand that God now accepted me because Jesus paid for my sins on the cross, and He gave me His righteousness. Like, that just blows my mind. But it's something I still struggle with. Sometimes I still try to perform for the Lord or for others' approval. But it seems like the longer I follow Jesus and the more I grow, the more He's continuing to make me more like Him. And the longer I follow Him, the more I seem to grow, the more I understand just the depth of my sin and the holiness of the Lord. But that just shows me even more and more how sufficient, how amazing Jesus is, that He would die on the cross for my sins, even though He sinned Himself. So I totally lost the game, but Jesus won it for me. So I'm Will Adams, and that's my real life story.